afternoon, everybody. Listen, I'm back from the pig. I have bought all my ingredients, and we're going to, y'all, I found out today that this is National Pumpkin Day. So we got to do something with pumpkin, so I'm going to make a pumpkin pie. Now, I will tell you this. Well, let me put on my pumpkin apron. This was given to me, and it's just so cute. I thought, well, hey, it's pumpkin day. I'm going to wear it. And this is painted on here. This is a hand-painted apron that somebody did for me. Isn't that beautiful? They're an artist, that's for sure. So anyway, I'm going to put on my pumpkin apron, and let me tell you about my pumpkin thing. I don't like pumpkin pie. I have never liked pumpkin pie. We have always eaten, in my family, we grew up with sweet potato pie for Thanksgiving and for, you know, just the fall with pumpkins coming in and sweet potatoes and all that. So anyway, I've never liked them. Well, I've got a son-in-law that loves pumpkin pie. So every year he begs for somebody, anybody, if you're out there, to please make him a pumpkin pie. Nobody ever did. His wife didn't even make him a pumpkin pie. So I felt sorry for him, so I decided that I would make a pumpkin pie. And since I don't like pumpkin pie, I thought, well, I'm going to make me up a recipe so I will like pumpkin pie too. And I made one, and I made up a recipe, and he said it was the best one he had ever eaten. Now, he either lies real good or he was truthful, but whichever way, it was so good. So I'm going to share that with y'all today. So what we want to do is I bought me the already made pie crust. I think that I'm only going to need one of them, but if I mix this up and I need two, which I might, I'll use both of them. So I'm going to get my pie crust out. I've thawed them out. And for you people who've never used a bought pie crust, what you do is you you get your fork, put you some holes all around the side and in the bottom. And what that's going to do is keep from swelling up. You're just supposed to do this when you're putting your pie filling in it. Usually when you cook a pie, you don't do that to it. But this pumpkin stuff is going to be so thick, it'll be fine. If you don't want to do that, you just want to pour yours in a regular pie crust, do it by all means. Okay, the first thing we're going to put in is this. I put in a whole container of cream cheese in my mixer. So I'm going to open this up, and we're going to put a whole container of cream cheese. Now remember, I'm just making this up. And I did it last year. I made it up last year, and I thought, well, you know what? I'm going to just make me up something. I looked up a bunch of pumpkin pie recipes, and none of them sound very good to me. So when you can't find something you like, you just make it up. So I'm going to put this in my mixer over here. I've got it on that paddle board part of the mixer. I do love cream cheese. My big mama used to love it too. Okay. Now the next thing we're going to put in with that, and here's my little recipe that I've got, is we're going to put in some, let me read it now to make sure I remember what I did put in. We're going to put 4 eggs in that cream cheese. But before I do that, I'm going to mix it up just a little bit. While that's mixing up, we will put our eggs in. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to separate my eggs. Let me put the pie crust over here. And the reason I'm going to do that, is I'm going to save the top. I'm only going to put in the yellow. That's all I'm going to put in. So I'm going to save this white for the top of it. You know, most of the time when you buy a pumpkin pie, it's got some, like a little, there's one. I'm going to do 4 eggs. And I'm just going to put in the yellows in my egg, and I'm going to use this white for the meringue. Most of the time when you buy a pumpkin pie, it's got some kind of whipping cream or something like that on the top of it. But I'm doing a meringue on top of mine, and I'll show y'all how to do that. I'm going to use 4 eggs. Now, in case you want to know, these eggs have been sitting out since I got back from the pig today, which is probably a couple of hours. Because you want your eggs, when you're doing something like this, when you're baking, your eggs need to be room temperature. In case you didn't know that, I'm going to tell you. All right? Now, let me get you over here to this side. We're going to... and by the way, I found my phone holder. I'm so excited, I don't know what to do. Okay, there we go. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to beat this cream cheese up with these 4 eggs, and I'm going to put one in at a time. So I'll just let one fall in there. So that's 2. All right, I'm going to do one more. Let it get in there. This is going to make it kind of congeal together and a little thicker, okay? And then my last one, my little, all right. All right, that was easy enough. Now we're going to put in 1 can of pumpkin. Now here's, I'm going to show it to you so that you'll know. It's 100% pure pumpkin. See there, it's not a pie filling or anything. It's just plain old pumpkin. So we're going to put that in our cream cheese and our egg. And we're going to beat this up real good. It's real thick, this is. There it all is. Okay, we're going to beat that up. And I've got it all over everything. All right, here we go. I'm going to set my egg whites right over here because they need to stay room temperature so that we can have a good meringue. They need to be room temperature. Now here's my favorite thing that I decided I was going to put in my pumpkin pie the day I did it. It's sweetened condensed milk. Y'all, this stuff is so good. If you've never used it, this is what you make your lemon pies out of, which I'm going to show y'all how to make that too before long. But when my daughter was little, she loved this stuff. And she loved it so much that she always wanted to lick the can, lick the spoon, whatever. So one day when I was at the grocery store, I decided that I was going to buy her a can of this. Just buy her a can. I gave it to her, I opened it, and y'all, she ate that whole can of that sweet condensed milk. And it is so, so good. What did I do with my spoon right here? So now, with the eggs and cream cheese and pumpkin, I'm going to add 1 can of this sweetened condensed milk in there. We'll turn it on, let that beat up. I can already see we're probably going to have to do 2 pie shells. Alright, let me get it all. But if I don't get it all, I'll just lick the can. Alright, we got that in. All right, turn it back this way a little bit so we can see. Come over here and look down in it so you can kind of see what color it is. So you want it beat up real good. Now the eggs that are in there are going to help it congeal together at the end, okay? So I'm going to turn this off. Now then for the spices. So I decided when I was making my pumpkin pie that I would put the spices that I like. So I'm going to put in, what I did that day is I put a teaspoon of salt. So I'm going to Let's see, make sure. Yep, I put a teaspoon of salt in. Now, it's been last year since I've made one of these things. So I want to, that's why I'm looking at my recipe, because I know that it turned out good, so I want it to turn out good again. All right, I'm going to put a teaspoon of salt. There we go. The next one we're going to put is a half a teaspoon. Let me find my half. There it is. A half a teaspoon of nutmeg. Let me make sure, y'all. All right. Can you see that? A half a teaspoon of nutmeg. I always say nutmeg. Maybe my mama said it wrong. I don't know. But I'm going to put in a half a teaspoon of this. A generous half a teaspoon. I like mine spicy. All right. Then we're going to put in a half a teaspoon of the ground ginger, for all of y'all who like ginger. So we're going to put a half a teaspoon of that in. Be generous. All right. Then we're going to put in, let me see how much so I'm using a half a teaspoon for everything. This is your pumpkin spice. Pumpkin spice. And so I'm going to put another half a teaspoon in this. So that'll be all our spices. And I'll do generous on that. Okay. So, let's look at our spices again. We've got ginger and pumpkin spice and nutmeg. Those are our spices, plus a little salt that went in it. And that's all the spices that I put in it. And then I beat that up, so I'm beating it up. Okay. Let me do my little spatula around on it just a little bit. Can y'all see okay? I hope so. And pushed all of it down in there good, because some of my spices got on the side. Okay. Wipe it off a little bit. All right, let me look at my recipe again. Remember, I haven't made it in a year. I have not made this in a year. All right. I need a little flour in it, and that flour is going to mix with that egg and make it thicker. So where's my tablespoon? I'm going to get 2 tablespoons of self-rising white lily flour. So I'm just going to reach over here in my container and pick out me 2 tablespoons, and I'm just going to sprinkle that lightly as it mixes. So it won't clump up, it'll mix in. Okay, and one more. The self-rising flour. Okay. And the last ingredient that I'm going to put in, let me get this mixed up good. All right, the last ingredient that I'm going to put in is a little syrup. And it calls for 2 tablespoons of syrup. Now you can use whatever kind of syrup you want to, but I'm going to use this because I like ginger. This is that one that I tell y'all about. This is the Who's Your Sugar Daddy syrup. And I picked out the ginger one to go in my pie. So, because I like ginger, I think it tastes good. So I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of this in my pie. over there. That's going to give it extra flavor. All right. You have to order this, so you can't buy it in the store, so. But it's under who'syourSugarDaddy.com. I know that. And it lasts a long time. All right, here we go. I'm going to mix that up. All right. We're ready. We'll take this off. I'm going to cook this in a 375 degree oven. Let me get over here and we'll put it in our I see a few little flowers in there that didn't get quite mixed up. I guess I could have, maybe last time I mixed my flour up with my cream cheese. I bet you that's what I did. I bet that's what I did. Instead of waiting to the last, you may want to do yours at the first with your cream cheese, so it makes sure it gets mixed up good, or with your pumpkin or something, okay? That means yours will be better than mine. All right, turn around this way. We're going to put it in our pie shells. And I looked at the thing, and I tell you what, y'all, since this is so fine, don't put any holes in your pie shells. Just leave it solid. Make sure nothing goes through. I should have done that. I'm going to mix them up. Pat that down a little bit. Okay. All right, we're ready to cook this. It did make 2 pies. It surely did. We're going to cook it at 375 until it firms up, until the crust around the outside is nice and toasty and brown. Okay? And since it's National Pumpkin Day, we will have a pumpkin pie. All right, let's go over here to their stove now, and we're going to pop these in, and I'm going to put them on the middle shelf, okay? All right, I don't know how long it's going to cook, but just till you can kind of tell when it gets firm and everything, so that's what we'll do till it gets firm, and then we're going to make our meringue to go on top of it. And while y'all are gone and we're waiting on the pies to cook, I'm going to wash my mixer so it'll be ready for the meringue when we get ready to do that. I'll talk to you in just a few. Okay, y'all, the pies are done. Let me show you one of them. See, can you kind of see? See, it's not jiggling or anything, and the crust is kind of brown, light brown. I cooked it on 375, and I timed it for y'all because I told you I didn't know exactly how long it would take. Well, I cooked for an hour. So, you know, all ovens are different. You may take yours out a little bit before or a little bit out afterwards, but that's up to y'all. Okay, now we're going to make our meringue for the top of it. So, let's get over here where we can see. And what I did is when you got your beater bowl, you want to make sure that it is clean and that there's no grease in it. The grease hurts meringue badly. So, put this back in here. And what I did, let's just come over here. I think this would be easier. Come over here with me. I put this attachment to it, like a little whip. And I fixed to pour my egg whites in. Now, my egg whites, remember, are room temperature. And I'm going to put them in there. And what I did, when y'all were not here with me, since I made 2 pies, you know, I told you I didn't know if we were going to make 2 or 1. I couldn't remember how much that did. So what I did is I cracked one more egg and put the white of it in too. So I've got 5 whites of eggs in that mixer, okay? So let's get over here, and I'm gonna turn it on. You're supposed to turn it on high. So I'm gonna turn my mixer on high, and I'm gonna let it rip. And when it peaks, I'm going to start adding a little sugar. So I'm gonna turn it on. And I got it on as high as it can go. And while that's doing that, I'm gonna get some sugar out. Alright, what I did is I got 1/2 cup of sugar, and I'm going to put it in there after it peaks. Now let me look at it. It's not ready yet, but come on here and you can look. See how it's whipping up? All that's in there now is just plain old egg white. Put it on your highest speed that you got. You do it with a hand mixer or whatever. I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to lift this up, and if it peaks, it means it's ready. It's not quite peaking, so I'm going to turn it on again. Let me put you back over here with me now. I'm going to move you right over here because we got to see this. Let me put... All right. We're going to get all fixed up. We're ready to put our meringue on. And I'll show you in a minute. All right, it looks like it's peaking now. It doesn't take but just a little bit to do that. All right, let's look at it. Let's see if you can get over here and look at it with me. Let's turn that down a little bit. Okay, that's peaked, so I'm going to take this off. No, I'm not. What am I doing? I got to put my sugar in it. Let me put it back down. You see how it's peaking? Okay, put it back down. I got 1/2 cup of sugar. I'm going to turn it on full speed, and I'm going to drizzle the sugar in it. Right, I'm going to get me a spoon now. I'll be right back. All right, now lift it up. Take this off. Get it on the side a little bit. See how it's peaking? And y'all, that's all that goes in it. It's sugar and egg whites. Now, some people put a little cream of tartar in theirs, but I never have because my mama didn't. And you know what? We just tend to copy our mamas, don't we? So you can see how that is all creamed up. Now, that's just egg whites and sugar. Now, come over here. Let's put it on top of our pie. Let me get you set up again. Seems like half of our time is moving y'all around in my kitchen. Moving around. All right, let's get it right on those pies. Right here, I think you can see it good. And let's put our egg whites on it. Now, I'm going to put a big dollop on each one. But this was 5 egg whites. Woo, doesn't that look good? I love this. It's a pretty meringue. Okay, just take your spoon and push it to the edge. My pies aren't cool, but they're not straight out of the oven. I think I let them cool about 15 minutes, and then I'm putting my little meringue on it. And what we're going to do is pop them back in the oven so the meringue will brown just a little bit. You can do that on bake, or you can do it on broil. Now, I'm going to do it on broil today. Now, when you get that done, kind of take your spoon and do you some little whirls around in it and let it kind of perk up. That makes it pretty. All right, let's do this one. Push it down in there. Let it touch the side. Oh, this is going to be fine. Okay, like that. And then pretty it up a little bit. All right, that looks pretty. Okay, now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pop these in the oven, and I'm going to do mine on broil. That's when the broiler, the top of the oven comes on. But I am not going to leave these for a second. I'm going to put them in there, and I'm going to, you might say, keep the oven door open, because I'm going to be watching them. They will burn just like that now, y'all. So I'm going to put them in, and I'm going to turn my oven on broil. Let me get that. All right, and now I'm going to put the other pie in. And I got them in there. And so what we're going to do now, I'll let you see in there. See, the pies are in there, and that element at the top is going to come on, and it's going to brown them. I probably will just close it up, and I'll just keep opening it till they get brown, and then I'm going to take them out. But y'all, please don't leave your pie. You got to stand right at that oven, because it will burn it in a second. And then you'll have to scrape all that off. You'll have to crack some more eggs and redo it, and you don't want to be doing that, I know. So let's wait a minute. Y'all, they're done. Let's look at them. See? See, they're just light brown. They look pretty, don't they? Okay, let's get them out of the oven now. Let's get them out. I think that probably took about 3 minutes, maybe 4, but it doesn't take long. And I stood right here. I never left it. I didn't go to the bathroom. I didn't answer the phone. I didn't do anything. I stayed right in my oven. Because if you don't, you're going to have a burnt pie, y'all, I'm telling you. Or burnt meringue anyway. All right, let me let you look at them. There they are. Isn't that pretty? That is so pretty. There's the other one. Okay. Now, the only thing we have left to do is to taste it. So let me cut a piece. Get you down here where you can see this. You don't need to see me. We just need to cut a piece of pie. I wish I had some coffee made, but I don't. But I'm going to drink me a cup this afternoon at some point. Okay, there we go. Now let's get this out. I hope it's had time to set up. I don't know if it has or not, but I'm gonna see. Well, Brenda, get up in there, girl. All right, I'll put it right there. And let me get me a fork. Now look and see how nice and firm that it is. It's almost like a pumpkin cheesecake. All right, and then we just cut down through it and get us a bite. See, that's delicious. That's delicious. Let me tell you something. When you're making this, you know what spices I put in it, and no sugar went in this pie. It was all spices. The only sugar that's in it was that sweetened condensed milk, and that's why you don't need any sugar in it, because you got all that good sweet milk in it. But it could use a little bit more spice. When I told you that we put in a half a teaspoon of this, half a teaspoon of that, I really feel like that a teaspoon wouldn't be too much. but it's mild and it's good. So you may want to put a little bit more in yours. I'll tell you what you could do. When you're mixing it up in that mixer, get your little spoon and taste it. And if you feel like it needs some more spice, honey, add it. It's your kitchen. It's your kitchen. Now, look at that. See, how pretty? I want to talk to you about something today, just to lift you up. You know, everybody goes through storms. Some of you are going through a terrible storm right now. Now, I'm not talking about a storm like it's coming out of the west or the east or whatever. I'm talking about the storms of life. When you're down in the valley and you're not on the mountain, you're down in the valley. Well, Scripture says that sometimes we can't see because we're down in the valley. We're in the storm. But be rest assured, saints, that when the storm is over and the sun starts coming out, you will be able to see. You will be able to see for the first time what God had planned. And He does have a plan, and you will be able to see it after the storm. I'll give you an example that happened in my life. When Hurricane Opal came through Andalusia, it was awful, y'all. I stayed under the table, the dining room table, because we've got a big one. I stayed under there with my husband all night long. And that storm raged all night long. When I woke up the next morning, the trees were down. My porch was off. There's things coming in the house. We couldn't use either vehicle because they were crashed. And I'm a really energetic person, but that day I was in such shock that I just walked around all day and cried. I couldn't do anything else. And I didn't know what God had planned. But y'all, He has a plan. And our trees, our big virgin pine trees were stressed like this. They didn't come down, they just stressed them and they all died. We didn't want to sell our lumber for pulpwood. So my husband said, get you some paper and draw you out a plan. So I did, a little one-room house. He came in a few days later and said other trees were dying. I'm sorry, y'all. But anyway, so I tore that up. And well, what it wound up is we built a 6-bedroom, 6-bath lodge out of those dead pines. And so many people have been there to that lodge for retreats and all this kind of stuff through the years. And it has blessed me and so many others. And it's still blessing because my family lives in the lodge now. And we don't do that anymore. We don't do parties or anything with it anymore. They live in it. See, I couldn't see what God's plans were during that time when I was in that storm. But I see now. My eyes were opened, and yours will be too. So if you're a saint of God, that means a child of God, and you're going through a storm, just hang in there, and He's going to strengthen you, and you will be able to see when the storm has passed. So, enjoy your National Pumpkin Day, and God be with us all. Love you. Bye-bye.